Hi, Laura. How are you doing?
I'm great, Judy. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on board today for today's podcast interview. I'm here with Laura Conlon. She is the inside sales consultant for Ansafone Contact Centers based in Ocala, Florida, and also Santa Ana, California. So, Laura, tell me about your background and your role here at Ansafone.
Well, I came on as an inside sales consultant about 2 months ago.
Right?
Um, my role really here is to drive new business and working with clients that are looking for an answering service. And my role is really to consult with them to kind of hone in on what some of their current struggles might be that they're having in answering calls for their business and coming up with a solution to meet their specific goals.
That's wonderful. So, what kind of call center or contact center solutions do you offer specifically?
So, primarily, I work with telephone answering services. So,
Mhm.
primarily commercial and healthcare organizations where they might just be struggling with missed calls or people hanging up on calls because they're not getting to them quick enough. So, working in the call center industry, we find that a lot of businesses, regardless of what industry it might be in, anytime there is a missed call, if it's a doctor's office, it's going to be frustrated patients.
Mhm.
That's going to, cause frustration for them as well as the staff when they, get complaints. And with commercial businesses, especially, missed calls means missed business for them, missed revenue. Especially Judy, with everything that's going on this year. I hear how people are struggling with their businesses.
Right.
So
Completely.
realizing, yeah, that they really need a solution in play,
Mhm.
where voicemail messages it just isn't going to work anymore. If people
Right.
can't reach somebody live, they're going to go somewhere else.
Right. Exactly. It makes total sense. And nowadays, the personalization of a human voice over automated is huge, right?
Absolutely.
Hmm. So, what is your general philosophy when you approach a customer like this that is in need of telephone and contact center solutions?
Well, what I really like to do at the very beginning is kind of find out what they're looking for. My role as a consultant is really to consult with them. So I want to have that personalized approach where I can show empathy and be like, I understand what you're going through. I've heard
Right.
it from other businesses. Um, but really get them to understand and feel comfortable with me and realize that I'm working for them. I'm working
Mhm.
for to come up with a solution that's going to meet their goals. And having that philosophy where I understand that no business is the same. So even though I've worked with a lot of attorneys or a lot of HVAC companies or a lot of doctors' offices, their specific needs might be different than the person I set up last week. And
Right. That makes
so
total sense. Yeah.
having that personalized approach, it gets them to realize, Laura's doing this for me,
Hmm.
not with the person she talked to yesterday.
Right.
It's all about them and what they need.
So I know you touched a bit upon it already, Laura, but for example, I mean, why would a client need more of your contact center services? I know you touched upon it, but can you kind of talk more about it and give specific situations and how it could improve and expand their customer care experience?
Absolutely. So I actually am working with a
Hmm.
healthcare organization in Ocala, Florida right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
their biggest struggle right now is due to the COVID pandemic and now peak of flu season. Their call volume has ramped up significantly. They have 4 full-time employees just handling calls, and they can't get to all of them. They get on average 1,700 calls a day.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
And I really emphasize the fact that they need a third party, a contact center to partner with them
Mhm.
to improve their patient experience.
Mhm.
There's nothing like, Judy, and I'm sure you've experienced this even calling your own doctor's office, where you just call to schedule an appointment and you could be on hold for 5, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. And nobody
Just
wants that, right?
no,
Mhm.
no. And so having a contact center there as overflow or taking after hours calls, again, it could be healthcare, it could be a commercial business, anybody where they are working with customers, patients, clients, they want to speak to somebody live and they don't want to be sitting on the phone for 10, 15 minutes just waiting for that to happen.
Right.
Or
Understandable.
or they don't want to get a voicemail. They're not
Mhm.
going to leave a message. So again, by having a contact center as a backup, they're just going to enhance their customer service experience so they have happier patients, happier customers, happier clients. And that's how we at Ansafone can help with that.
Those are great points. Thanks for elaborating on that. So, Laura, it sounds like how many years have you been in this industry?
It's going on 7 years actually.
That's wonderful. So, from your 7 years of experience in this contact on this contact center space, I mean, what do you see as the most challenging task for you?
Probably um, getting in touch with people that initially reach out, but then they don't return your calls or your emails.
Oh, oh goodness, yeah. I mean, that's
So
tough. Yeah,
So I think to myself, Judy, actually, I'm
yeah.
like, okay, well,
Mhm.
they reach out for something and they're not getting back to me.
Right.
What does that say about their business and how good at follow up are they with their own customers?
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's a reflection. So
Uh huh.
that makes total sense. Um, so other than that, for example, in everything that you've experienced in these client relationships, what would you say is the number one service or component in client services that you see clients consistently ask for?
They want a quick response.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Number
Mhm,
one,
mhm,
they want to know that if they have a question or a concern, they can reach out to whoever they're supposed to reach and get a response
right.
as quickly as possible. Even if it's, I got your email or I received your phone call,
Mhm,
I need to check with a couple of departments. I will get back to you by the end of the day.
mhm.
Just some sort of response.
Right. So they know that you're there, you're present, you're there to support them. It's not like you disappeared right after the contract, right?
Exactly. And I never want my clients to ever feel that way, Judy.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I've been on the receiving end.
Right. That
So
makes sense.
yeah.
From working with Ansafone, what
Hmm.
would you say is what differentiates you from all the competition?
Honestly, Judy, I from what I've seen so far, it is the collaboration between teams here.
Mm,
We really work well together.
hmm.
Um, the client services is phenomenal.
Right.
The team that I work with on implementing new accounts and setting up the answering service is phenomenal.
Right.
Um, it, I mean, it's just a real team effort,
Right.
and everybody understands. Um, things are different right now, And it really feels like everybody has come together to figure out what can we do to
Right.
help our clients
Hmm.
and get through 2020 as as smoothly as we can.
Hmm. So what would you say, is that the winning formula in making Ansafone great, or do you see there's an additional asset about it?
I really think the fact that we have over 50 years experience in the call center
Hmm.
industry is a huge selling point.
Right.
Also, the fact that we do have that personalized service where every account we recognize is different and that we want to customize a solution to fit each and every one of our clients' needs.
Right. Excellent points. Is there a time where you had to make an important decision without enough information?
Um, yeah, a lot of times, even when somebody wants a quote and they're
Mhm.
just like, give me pricing. And I'm like, well, it's really hard to give you a quote or a price if I don't know what you're looking for.
Right, that makes
If
sense. Hmm.
if I don't have call volume, if I don't know what you're looking for us to do, I'm not just going to throw out a number. Um, so it's really hard even with that in making a decision to send a proposal because again, my role here as an inside sales consultant is to provide a recommendation based upon what that client needs.
Right,
And a price, it can't reflect just a price. There's a lot more involved in just throwing out a number.
right.
Um, so I really try to hone in on my clients that are looking for services to get a better idea of what they're looking for, so that the proposal I do give them really does fit their needs.
Right. Can you share a couple of the most difficult client situations you've had to handle and you resolved at the same time?
Um, so it hasn't been here at Ansafone, but at my previous call center that I worked at, there were a lot of times, a lot of challenges that I would see with current customers where they weren't getting that timely response from client services, and they would call me frustrated and just say, I don't understand why people don't get back to me. Is this how you treat your customers? And I would take real like I would get upset about that because I very much value every client that I work with. And if they're not getting that same sort of respect that I try to give all of my clients, then it makes me look bad. And
Right,
so by having at least that relationship with my client where they can come to me and just say, Laura, I'm frustrated. It gives me the ability to go to another department and say, look, this client needs help. It is our job to help them.
hmm,
And, it's hard, even though it's not me that they're upset with. It's hard to know that a company that I'm working with is not being as responsive or as empathetic or as professional as I try to be on a daily basis.
got it. What would you say are the top three consistent problems in the industry for call centers?
Um, Definitely hold times.
Okay.
Um, Not always having the most professional agents handling calls.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, where I mean they could even mispronounce the business name. And
Oh,
obviously that's not good.
right,
We're serving as an extension of their office. So if we can't even pronounce the company name, it doesn't look good for us and it doesn't look good for our clients.
right.
Um, and then I think the other thing that seems to be across the board is really not always being on the same page with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Where, obviously I'm in sales. I'm here to make my goals every month.
Right.
Um, but I'm really invested in my clients and in the success of their business.
Mm-hmm.
And what I see a lot of times is maybe the agents don't understand how important they are in helping that business grow.
Right.
Um, if they're not being professional, if they're not following the script that we've set up for the client,
Mm-hmm.
um, it doesn't, it makes it seem like they're not invested in the company's success, where I believe everybody who works in a call center should all be on that same page, where the customer's success um, is going to help us. We wouldn't be in business without our clients.
Right. Makes total sense. So my last question for you, Laura, is do you have any specific message you'd like to share with the world?
I guess the one thing I can say is I'm just really here to help.
Right.
Um, every business out there is struggling this year, and I totally understand that. And I am here to help people that are having struggles with handling calls with frustrated clients, frustrated patients. If I can come up with a solution to help solve some of those issues, I'm here.
Right. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for your time and coming on board for this interview. I so appreciate it. And where can we find you? And what is your website URL?
Okay, so our website is www.ansafone.com. If you
Yes.
want to reach me directly, you can call me on my office line at 352-644-8652, or you can email me at laura.conlon@ansafone.com.
And can you spell that, please?
Sure.
Hmm.
My whole name?
Yeah, just so
Okay.
it, mhm.
LAURA dot C is in Charlie, O is in Oscar, N is in Nancy, L is in Larry, O is in Oscar, N is in Nancy, at Ansafone, A, N is in Nancy, S is in Sam, A is in Apple, F is in Frank, O is in Oscar, N is in Nancy, E is in Edward.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And that is with Laura Conlon from Ansafone Contact Centers. Thanks so much, Laura.
Thanks for your time, Judy. I really appreciate it.